Okay, let's give it a test here. Someone say something.
Test.
May I, Mamu Dogface in the Banana Patch?
Hello, hello.
So you might need to raise your voice a little bit more.
May I, Mamu Dogface in the Banana Patch?
Looks
Good
better.
thing I have a big mouth.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a Moo episode of Indie Film Cafe. I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, and I am joined as usual by...
Jonathan A. Moody, your co-host.
Yay! And then together we are joined by...
Hi, I'm Steph. I am back again, as you might have remembered me from the last movie we watched together.
Do you remember what that was?
Absolutely not, thankfully.
I don't either.
And we are right here in Steph's own home territory, believe it or not, up here in the land of Mary. And then joining us, we also have...
Hi, I'm Nicole. Nice to meet you all. First time.
And
I am Tori, and it's so a pleasure to meet all of you guys.
you guys have to understand, everybody is sitting here wearing a cow suit, except Tori, who's got to be the different one.
The odd one here.
Well, to be fair, she came in the last minute and said, and we were like, yeah, sure, let's have you come up here. But, she's not going to be able to find a cow onesie in, a day.
Exactly.
People should be able to find a cow onesie in one day. Even little Dio had a little cow costume on.
Yeah, my dog was not happy with that, though.
It's like,
It's
take
okay.
it off.
Doggone idea. Well, we have gathered today to watch a movie called Rock and Roll Frankenstein. And boy howdy, this is a movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's one way
So,
to put it.
and you already, because you wanted this one, you asked for this movie.
Yeah, this has the most personality in the pants I've ever seen, and that will make so much more sense
There you go.
after we watch the movie.
But Mr. Moody, have you seen this
No.
film? Okay,
No,
yeah, I
not yet.
owned it, so I knew about it. But what about you folks? Have you guys seen this?
I'm pretty sure I've watched it at least one time with Steph. So.
Okay.
I've seen it one time with Steph, and there are some scenes I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need a drink for this one.
We all might need a few shots of moo juice after this one, but right now we will be back after we hear some mood music. And hello, we are back.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, oh wait, I shouldn't do that.
Albert.
We're just testing, right?
But that might still end up in the thing.
Anyhow, so, first impressions, please. I'm dying to know, even though it's not your first impression, but other folks, if this is your
Actually,
first
it's not-
time,
Yeah, it would be only my first time. 'Cause
all right, well, let me
everybody
hear.
else has seen it.
Let us have it. What did you think of Rock and Roll Frankenstein?
I mean, it was stupid.
Really?
It was dumb. It was. I don't know. It wasn't the worst film we've ever seen, But it's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't know. It's just dumb,
I've seen it one other time before, and there were so many parts of this film that I did not remember. There was way more gross factors than I initially thought there was gonna be.
You really reacted with the green penis part.
Oh, it was so cringy. Ugh.
Absolutely. What about you?
Oh my god, the second time, it is as bad as the first time. There's 2 or 3 scenes that I wish I did not want to remember.
My eyes! These goggles, they do nothing.
Or maybe 4. It was probably 4.
All right, well, Steph, you've got to share the story about how because you chose this.
I did.
Blame Stephanie.
I did, yes. A couple of, probably about almost a year now, I was on one of my second dates. I was dating at the time, and I wanted to watch a bad movie, so I scrolled through Tubi, and I saw the Rock and Roll Frankenstein. I really love young Frankenstein. I thought, this is going to be, awesome. And the guy comes over, is like, all right, cool, let's see how this goes. And we're watching it, and I did not expect what was the movie. I don't have a better way. I was not expecting any of that. So Yeah, that was fun, and I went on a third date with him. I don't know how or why, but he showed up for date number 3. So
Did he watch the whole thing?
I think he did. At least he pretended to.
Did he watch the whole thing with his jaw down? That's what I want to know.
It was only date number 2. I don't think he was going to show any realism. He pretended to be interested.
Because kids, I got to tell you, there's some lowest common denominator humor here, and some stuff that just would not fly in today's society, which is for the better. Some really cringy, seriously bad and offensive humor. And don't get me wrong, I like offensive humor sometimes. Sometimes this one really kind of pushed the envelope on purpose. But the problem is that it wasn't particularly clever or funny. You can get away with that if the jokes are well written and if the humor is done, if it's quick and it's done, really well. This movie doesn't really have that.
It just kind of felt like they tried to build an entire film centered around dick jokes.
Yes.
And you can only get so far with that in terms of a good film.
And butt sex jokes.
Yes.
Drug humor.
Toilet humor.
There's also a lot of gay jokes in it. They're poking so much fun towards the gay community.
Yeah.
Yeah, which...
Although, I don't know if it's fun is the word I would use. More like just stereotypical kinds of, put-downs.
Put-downs, but, it was really weird, because it felt like the people were a little conflicted at times. I don't know, the writer is a little bit... he's doing that, but he's having the character, have Liberace's penis, be the thing. So it wasn't funny at all, and it was trying to be very... very gross and offensive, and it just gets kind of boring when you see some of that stuff.
I mean, when you look into a bag full of aborted fetuses that they've stolen, yeah, that's pretty low. As I think I said at one point, there isn't a low that this movie won't go.
Well, you said that at the church scene.
Yeah, there's that too.
Oh, the church scene.
Good grief.
I don't know if they're trying to make fun of the gays again, or they're trying to make fun of the Christians.
They're trying to do everything.
Or the gay Christians.
The gay
Christians.
Well, it actually was the gay Christians.
Yes.
What did they say in the confessional where we all busted out? Did you like it? Was that what it was?
Yes!
Yeah, he's
How does it
asking
feel?
the question. Yeah, when the priest was asking, he's supposed to be leading him on to make a confession, and he's like, oh, "Did you like it?"
Yeah,
Oh my
which we
God.
laughed at because we thought that was actually the
That
best
was
line
funny.
in the movie.
Yeah.
That if the movie had been more humor like that a little bit, we might have liked the whole movie. But
Right, because you could have predicated that by just saying, this is the thing that is unsaid, but he says it this time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, is there anybody amongst us who can kind of sum up what happens in Rock and Roll Frankenstein? Some of you folks who've actually seen this several times can probably do it better.
Stephanie, do you want to do this?
yes,
Great, I'm the expert. All right.
expert on.
So, yeah, basically a bunch of dudes are like, yo, let's do a Young Frankenstein movie. And, they grabbed a bunch of body parts. That part's different. They grabbed a bunch of different body parts. And the part that was the same was they needed to get a brain. But by the brain, I mean the second head, which is the cock, the penis, the grand... how many different ways do they say cock? I don't remember. But
A lot.
yeah, so that was the brain twist. It was just the downstairs brain, and so they took the wrong penis, as they do in Young Frankenstein, and instead of it being Abby Normal, it was Liberace, and so
Liberace.
yeah. That was beautiful, you guys.
Well, and the thing is that it's supposed to be they're building a Frankenstein monster because this sleazy agent is tired of being used by his people that he represents. So he's going to build himself a new rock and roll star out of parts that he's stolen from dead rock and roll people, which is absurd and stupid.
And I will say it is very fortunate that the penis collector was in America for them to magically just, hop in there.
Not just
Why is that even needed?
Not just that, but the graves of all of these people were just in random places that they could just find.
Like, they had a very specific Scooby-Doo adjacent hippie van, and they arrived at every single grave in that hippie van.
Even during the day, they're like digging up dead people. You
They
know?
hopped a fence while people were walking by.
I know. No one said a damn thing.
Or called the cops. You know. No.
But I mean,
stoner stuff.
but I can understand plot point. We're going to build a rock and roll star of our own. Okay, that makes sense. I get it. But why does it even need a penis? What is the point of that? Though, because the point is that's where the humor is going to go.
You can't keep me on ice forever. I'm horny. I want to get shit-faced.
Shut up. Bernie's gonna get me a doctor. He's gonna get you off my back forever, you little prick.
Hey, let's go with that thing. Will you get that off me? What is the matter with you?
And
So-
there's also groupies. You got to get the groupies.
No.
Yes, the 45-year-old groupies
With mustaches.
with mustaches.
Mustache Lady was my favorite character.
So anyway, do continue. What happens?
Well, with a straight mind and a gay dick, the non-Elvis Frankenstein was very conflicted, and while he made, according to the movie, good music, he did not have a good time in the sack. So that conflict basically ruined him, and then he died by dick suicide.
As you do.
Wow, that pretty much sums up the movie, yeah.
Dick suicide. Please, somebody make that movie.
Literally dick suicide because it hangs the dick.
Dickicide.
Dickicide, yeah. Oh, Lord.
So I had a whole bunch of notes about the folks who made the movie and who acted in the movie, but I forgot them. So I've forgotten all of them, and yeah. So there were folks who made the movie, and there were folks who acted in the movie, and I don't really know who they were.
This Uncle Bernie guy, he always carries a cigar with him wherever he goes. It's like trying to give him a message, say, "Hey, I'm the important agent here. I need my cigar."
Yes, we need this guy to carry a cigar, wear a cheap suit, and say every other word as a cuss word for us to know that he's a sleazy talent agent.
And then let's not forget the two character points of views that they always point out. He's got an ugly ass tie, and he uses a lot of Yiddish slang because I guess he's Jewish.
It's like Silent Bob and Jay. He says so many F words, like it could run for their money for that.
I totally expected a Snoochie Booches any second.
Snoogans.
Snoogans, yeah.
Dear Lord, this,
Or the other thing I was thinking was Bill Selkel. If you guys remember that.
so this, director, Brian O'Hara, had done a lot of sound department stuff.
Yeah, he
was a
did.
dialogue editor and supervising sound editor.
For a director doing a lot of sound stuff, the sound quality was terrible.
I know.
And it's the same rock and roll song over and over again.
Oh, yeah. I will say the one thing I do remember about him, he did a documentary called Prince of Porn, which was about this guy named Prince back in the early 80s who did a bunch of sort of cheap, lowbrow, crappy 80s porn. I think his name is Phil Prince. And I remember that one because you remember I do a show called Docs That Rock, and that was a documentary that was recommended
It's only 19
to me.
minutes, though.
Yeah, it's a shorty, you know. But
Prince of Porn, I thought you meant Ron Jeremy.
No. That's
You meant the
that's
symbol.
the hedgehog of porn.
Alright, so... so you did a lot of that stuff. Let me see if he even did the sound stuff for this movie, because maybe he didn't. That's my question.
I mean, I would be embarrassed to put my name on this.
Yeah,
song.
I think he directed and wrote it, and I think he may have even edited it, but that's about it, and he hasn't really done
Was this a passion
much else.
project for him?
Exactly, that's what I'm wondering. I'm like,
That's
this
embarrassing.
this is the passion project? This is your baby? I mean...
Sir, I'm gonna need you to find a new passion immediately.
Exactly. It's supposed to be like Rocky Horror, but it's not really that memorable. And it's not memorable for a very good reason.
So the monster was, a.k.a. the King, was played by Greg Guggenheim.
And he's been in a few things, as I recall.
He was in Analyze That as like a mob. He usually plays mob guys, it looks like. He was in Boardwalk Empire as a Torio thug. A movie called White Girl where he was a limo driver. And Billions where he was the umpire.
Well, he does have that, like, nice square jaw that, like, is very thuggish.
Yeah.
Was that his or was that part of the Elvis outfit?
No, that was his.
Because remember, he has the whole head of Elvis, the hands of Jimi Hendrix, the butt of Keith Moon.
I thought it was Sid Vicious. I think
it's a foot of Sid Vicious. Don't ask me why it was a foot.
I see the tattoo of, like, Sid Nancy, I think.
I think they were trying to make a joke, but it was just not.
And that's the problem. The jokes were all along the lines of, I think they were trying to make a joke there. And it just did not work.
What's the punchline? They're gay secretly? Okay.
So Jason Spence played Frankie Stein.
Frankie Stein.
I didn't even hear the Stein part ever used.
That's the doctor.
I didn't even get it. The guy that we thought looked like Corey Feldman, or you thought looked like...
Oh my God, if Corey Feldman had played that role,
he would have been
awesome.
great.
It would have been the same character. It would have been the same guy. He would have acted exactly the same.
But there'd be so many layers of irony that would have made it a lot more fun.
Yeah. There would have been the grandpa with the funny line at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So Barry Fetterman played Bernie Stein, the Uncle Bernie, I guess.
Oh, that's the agent. Yeah,
the agent. And he hasn't done. Both of those guys have not done anything else. So
I'm not mad at the actor who played Bernie. You know, for what little he had, he wasn't bad. But what was he, Frankie Stein? The weird, like, fired doctor / embalm. What he worked at a funeral home. He, like, had no emotion. He had no emotion.
He was like Dexter before Dexter.
I mean,
it wasn't. But Dexter even has range. This guy was just flat.
I know, but I mean, if you work with dead people, maybe you should be a little dead. You know.
I guess.
Oh, well, he likes to have fun with the dead bodies, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he did talk about how he had sex with their corpses.
The cold blue flesh makes me turn red.
And he has like this couple times we've seen him with a magazine full of dead body parts, and he's about to do his thing, and then it got interrupted.
I'm showing my age, but if there's any TSOL fans out there, Code Blue is one of my favorite songs.
Okay, so the guy who played Iggy, the long-haired,
the druggy guy.
Hippie guy, yeah.
Best actor in the whole film.
And he's the one who has kind of the most acting credits.
That makes
sense. Yeah. He
seemed familiar.
He was in a movie called After Hours Happy Hour. I don't know, but that sounds like a porn. But he played a bartender.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's some porn resumes in here somewhere.
He was in a movie called Adam and Steve, which I guess is a parody thing, but he played George the homeless man. He was in a movie called Park Pros, playing a character named Daniel. The Heart, She Holler, and that's a TV show apparently. And he played Dead, Redneck, and Locker. So I guess he was just an extra. Fortress of Dumbbells as well was the last thing.
I want to be in a movie called Fortress of Dumbbells.
I feel like my life is a fortress of dumbbells.
Uncle Bernie, you're just in time.
Frankie, this is Iggy.
Hi, Iggy.
What's happening? Look, if you're really ready to get this show on the road, you're going to need an assistant. That's what Iggy is here for.
What's your specialty, Iggy?
I'm into drugs.
Oh, a chemist.
No, I'm just into drugs.
Enough with the small talk already.
And then let's see. There's nobody else really, right? Like everybody else is kind of who's the one? Oh, by the way, the director himself, Brian O'Hara, was the voice of Liberace.
There you go.
He doesn't even sound like Liberace at all.
I mean,
you failed to explain that the penis has its own brain and it talks to.
Yes, it develops its own brain and its own voice,
and talks and ends up growing to a massive size
and commits murder. You know,
which. I mean, wasn't that what what they wanted originally when they wanted Jim Morrison's? Because we forgot to also mention that they went to go get Jim Morrison's penis and ends up putting it in a vat of acid randomly,
which just happened to be there in your penis collection. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe sometimes they need that to get rid of evidence.
I love the fact that the guy actually says, This is one of the largest dead rock and roll penis collections in the world. Like, there's more than one?
What about like Rasputin's? I know there's someone who collected Rasputin's penis. Why don't you use that?
He's not a rock and roll star.
I know.
Oh,
Many rock and
good
roll
point.
stars.
Although there was Rasputina. That was the band.
Let's see. There was that dance teacher. We forgot to mention him,
yeah.
which is randomly. I thought he looked
And then the groupie, the 45-year-old groupie that you're your fan. You know that.
Oh, that guy.
That girl.
I wonder if they're like
the girl.
actual
Yeah.
gay porn
I was talking about
stars.
the other guy, the other groupie that.
Oh, that was the dance instructor.
Yeah.
Or the guy that was like showing off his bits. Eek. There were a lot of guys showing off their bits. There was a lot of gay butt sex humor, and it's just
Wait,
it's hard to tell them all apart.
Are you saying the dance teacher was the guy that went into the bathroom with him and?
No, that was a different terrible gay stereotype.
Okay, I was gonna say 'cause
They
I
pretty
didn't
much
think-
hit them all.
Yeah.
You know, the guy named Bruce.
Yeah, and I will give them credit. When I say I don't think that they knew better, when I say that, I mean, I just don't think that they could literally emotionally comprehend what it would be like to be somebody else. Like,
Right.
that's where I'm going with that. It is not an excuse
Acting
to...
is not for everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
Although at one point, the doctor, the weird, disgusting, emotionless doctor who likes to have sex with dead people, he at least at one point says, you know, go ahead and be yourself, Frankie.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. These days, you can be yourself and it's all right. Which for 1999, if you're going to make a movie with a lot of terrible gay stereotypes, it was at least I'll give him a point for saying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the gays and necrophiles are the same.
Yeah, terrible. Oh, and let's not forget the horrible equation of gays and gerbil rear end sex.
God. I actually, at one point in the movie, I actually did ask if gay people like to have gerbils up their butts. And I'm like, I know that's definitely not true, but
Everyone's like, no.
like, why do they mention that gay people like gerbils up their butts?
Yeah, it was a genuine question from her, by the way, because it was a stereotype that she had never heard of, and it was so confusing. Like, it made no absolute sense to her.
Exactly.
But is it a stereotype? Because I've never heard of that.
Well,
stuff.
it's. I think it goes back to one of those urban legends that
Richard Gere.
Yeah, or somebody. It went from one person to the next. Whoever they decided was they did one cool.
Well, the first time I had heard of that was the movie Scream. They said like one of the girls is like, you believe the whole Richard Gere gerbil story so much, you hear it so much that you sometimes believe it's actually true. And I was like, what Richard Gere gerbil story? And then I found out, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it made Mallrats, speaking of Jay and Silent Bob, gerbils,
Right,
and all
right.
that stuff, and all
But
that even funnier.
The thing is that why is the one equated with the other? Wouldn't you think that that's animal sex, bestiality?
Well, I remember there's a South Park episode where they have the gerbil up the Mr. Slave's ass.
Lemmy
Winks. So that's what they're trying to go run with here.
But yeah, they didn't have that in 1999.
No, it was earlier, I thought.
It's actually a little later, maybe a few years, like 2001 or maybe 2002.
Okay, that's when they did it. Okay.
But
That
that
would
was
make
going off the same stereotype.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's
Maybe they got it from this movie.
I don't think so. I think if you're going to get your shitty gay stereotypes, you're going to pick a better movie than this.
I can count on two hands how many people had seen that movie by that point in time. So, yeah.
Remember, this is before Tubi existed.
Yeah.
The only other people who are going to have a movie like this are idiots like me who go out and look for bad films and buy them.
Well, it's because other idiots go, "Hey, Paul, you should check out this movie," and then you're like, "What? Somebody does something with a gerbil?" What?
I gotta
Over
be.
that bar.
I gotta be honest. I remember buying this at the time in a movie at a thing, and back when they used to sell movies in DVDs, and I remember seeing the box cover, and the box cover sold me. So
What was the box cover?
it just was the stupid-looking rock and roll Frankenstein, and then they talk about making a Frankenstein monster out of dead bits and pieces from rock and roll people who had died, and I thought, that's a great idea. And if the movie had been more like that, it could have been fun.
But where would they have gone with that, though? Like, I mean,
They could have made a band, the Grateful Dead.
The Grateful Dead 2.
Yes.
What about like a musical
real
like
Grateful
Yeah, there you
Undead.
go.
like a musical like the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Like they had the whole idea of creating a gay stereotype, like, but it's a musical, like it's so out there. It's like Transylvanians and then this queer mad scientist creating someone who he fancies, you know? They could have worked something like that, make it like a musical, but not really.
Glad they did not make this a musical.
I mean, if they had done like a little bit of that, fine, I understand that. But the fact is, the film kind of goes off the rails and just pursues this whole thing about the
It's the
Terrio
penis show.
stereotype. Yeah.
Yep. It's the Liberace Dick show. After halfway through the movie, it's just
That's what it should have been called. The Liberace Dick Show.
Yeah.
I would have bought that.
I think less people would have watched that.
Or have some fun with it. Have the green mutant Liberace Dick detach itself and start running around killing people, and they have to go and capture it before
Didn't
it kills
you say
more
there was
people.
already a movie like that?
That's the Brother Charles movie.
Oh yeah, but that was.
That's
did that
70s.
actually detach itself though?
It practically does. It's just incredibly long. It's
That
a
should have
movie
been
about
like the sequel, though. Like at the very end, it says "the end?"
Welcome
question
Home,
mark.
Brother Charles is a guy who has a massive, long penis, and he strangles people with it, as you do.
Yeah. Well, if you have a long penis, what else are you gonna do with
Well, it
it?
reminds me of that one bit in Scary Movie 2, like the poltergeist clown trying to get this one dude under the bed, and then it turns out that guy ends up aping the clown using his dick and just like grab him by the neck, and then just proceeds to do the bad.
So much.
So
I feel like, I don't think that would work.
I mean, at that point, where's the line between bad film and bad porno? That, you know?
I guess the point is, in my opinion, is the narrative had a lot of choices that it could have gone to, and instead it went to the lowest common denominator sort of, humor. Who are those two morons, cartoon characters that were big on MTV that I fucking hated?
Yeah,
that I freaking hated.
Why did you hate them?
Because I had to go to school with people like that, and I fucking hated them.
Oh, so it reminded you of real people.
Reminded me of people that I wanted to just fucking hit over the head with a shovel. So yeah, not much fun. But that's the level of humor that was.
I'm glad that you've taken the message away from this film, which is to, aggressively work out your problems.
Well, I don't have a green detachable penis so it's to do all my dirty work for me. So, this is what I'm stuck with.
It wasn't detachable though. It didn't detach until he committed Dickicide.
I saw him wiggle away, so there could be a sequel. You never know.
That's true. That's true.
30 years later.
Liberace's penis comes back on a rampage.
For the 30-year anniversary, these guys are going to make another.
And I thought it was funny because even at the point where the Liberace character takes over and he gets up on the piano, does he actually play a song that Liberace's famous for? No. It is chopsticks, which, every 4-year-old child learns first thing on piano.
Yeah,
exactly.
He does play the piano later, though, right? Doesn't he? It does sound a little better. Like it's not just chopsticks; it's some other stuff.
I don't know if he plays the piano, but somebody plays.
Somebody plays it. It was all right. I mean, whatever. It was probably not what Liberace would have done. No,
I don't think so. Yeah, no, and it was definitely a very extremely broad stereotype of who Liberace was.
Yeah, I was not happy about the way that they portrayed Liberace. Like, if they wanted to make an evil gay dick, that's fine, but don't attach it to Liberace. He was a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, he's a wonder. He has a sense of fashion.
It was an appalling sense of fashion, but at least he had one. Point is, I don't think he was misogynistic and wanted to have women killed because they were women. That's not a really good thing to attach to him. No. So, Yeah,
Well, I
didn't
don't
like that.
think anybody that actually loves Liberace watches this movie. Like, I don't think this would be something that they'd even watch.
I don't know whether you knew this, but in Vegas there was a Liberace museum, and it was there for years until finally the people who had it lost their lease, and they had to get rid of it. And I think somebody ended up getting part of it, and it's in their living room or something like that.
That's a little weird.
It is a little weird, but yeah, there was a Liberace museum for years and years because he was a big deal on the Vegas circuit way back in the day.
It's not here, in this room, you know, or anything.
And not once was there a giant green dick.
Yeah, luckily.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe in some sex stores. You just got
That's the other part of Vegas.
Other part of Vegas, right over there.
That's the part you don't, things that happen in Vegas stay in Vegas. To do some gambling? Yep, that and giant green dick.
Okay. That one escalated quickly.
Well, we were there. Remember when we drove you cross country? I don't think we saw anything like that.
I didn't see a green dick.
What?
You know.
There was no roadside attraction for a giant green dick? Wild.
I was sad because we went to the the Pawn Star shop.
We did.
And they didn't have a green dick.
Nope.
For sale.
Not even one.
Not even one. I mean, that's just sad.
They did have a really good Filipino buffet, though. We found that.
I'm so happy for the both of you.
Lumpia cures a lot of ills in this world. That's all I'm saying. So, well, okay, so let's touch upon a couple things. Apart from, say, the sort of very, very underwhelming doctor, I didn't think the acting was particularly bad.
I mean, not overly bad. It wasn't the Frankie wasn't very good. And I can see why this is his only film. I think he just kind of got stuck doing it. The director probably saw him somewhere and was like, "You look like you could be Frankenstein," which, by the way, there's a better movie that has that name in it. We've touched it on Indie Film Cafe. Paul wasn't on it, but it's called Boltneck.
Oh, yeah.
Much better movie.
Yeah, even though I like to rag on the actors, it wasn't bad because the acting was bad. There's plenty of bad movies because the acting is horrendous. This one wasn't terrible.
And it wasn't even bad because of the directing. I mean, I thought it was okay. It wasn't, memorable, and it wasn't really bad either. It was just kind of meh. The badness was from the writing point of view, from the narrative, from the, questionable to poor choices that were made for where the story was going to go and for where the humor was going to come from. Because even in 1999 times, and I remember seeing this back then, it was just kind of,
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you how much time passed in the entire film. There were so many weird cuts and so many weird jumps. I'm like, did all of this happen over the course of a couple of days, or was this over a course of a couple of weeks?
I think it was a while because all of a sudden he became famous.
Right.
It would have had to have been at least 1 month. At least.
It's got a fever dream quality to it.
But yeah. It's probably something like 6 months or maybe.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I mean, the green dick had to have time to grow.
I guess.
Okay, Uncle Bernie was just over the top. As we discussed before, he loves to use the F-bombs. I think we all agreed that the best actor is that stoner guy with the long hair.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can definitely tell that if he wants to play stoner, he might as well not give a crap and just smoke whatever. And okay, I'm going to be in a movie. Let's roll.
I think at one point he ended up getting some elephant suppositories and for his drugs, and at first he was kind of like, "Oh, I can't use these," and then finally he's like, "What the hell?" I mean, you got to get your high. You got to get your high somewhere.
I mean, he's probably know that this whole idea is stupid, but he just wants to go have fun and earn some money and say, "All right, I'll just play along. I'll just act like myself and get a paycheck."
Yeah, and that's probably the other thing. Sometimes when you have these movies that they know how ridiculous they are, at least they're having some fun with it, and it's infectious. I didn't really pick that up in this. Did you guys?
I just kept the one character that really pulled me out of it being a movie was King. The the Frankenstein's monster character. Like,
Right.
you know, when he first came back, he didn't have any hair. You could see the bald cap. And anytime he would, like, kind of be arguing with his Liberace penis, like, it was just so awkward. He didn't know what type of faces to make, or he didn't know what to do with his arms. Like, he looked so awkward all the time. It was it was hard to believe he was doing what he was doing.
And honestly, you touched it right there. That's the movie.
Yeah.
That's the movie. Him arguing with his Liberace penis. You could have done a whole movie on that.
Yeah, with not good facial expressions. Like, he reminds me of Tucker Carlson. Like, what is that face?
God.
What are you doing? What are you trying to
That
convey here?
Deer in the headlights. Look.
Yeah, just like, like, okay, no. I'm not buying your bad acting, sir.
I mean, there were a set of movies way back in the day. You might remember The Hands of Orlok, and there were a few other ones where it was, you know, this artist was given he's lost his hands, or a piano player in that case, and they end up giving him new hands, but they're the hands of a murderer, and the hands take over, and he ends up killing people. You could have done a fun riff.
You guys have seen that, right?
You could have done a fun riff on that, where he gets the evil cock, and then they have a fight, and then the evil cock makes the right. You know what I mean? That could have been a lot more fun.
I would have died if there had been another person with an evil cock
Yes.
and they had a cockfight like Star Wars.
Yes.
Or they could all have different body parts fighting to play the different
Yes.
instruments.
Oh
So
my
the penis would have tried to play the piano, and the feet, and then the arm. Oh, man.
That would have been the best gay porno parody ever.
We've already written a better movie than this movie.
Exactly. The thing is, the movie doesn't really try to stretch beyond that, unfortunately.
Stretch.
Yeah, no. Narratively speaking, they took the safest possible thing, which is 14-year-old gay jokes.
Yeah.
Toilet humor.
Just like she said, stretch it out. You know.
Yeah. Just like the one guy's like, you're gonna stretch it out. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, have you never had anal sex before, sir? Like,
The prostitute is saying, "Oh, I don't like anal." I'm like, "Lady, you're a prostitute or like groupie. Like, how can you not just know what?"
It's half expected, chickie. Come on.
yeah.
Well,
At least
so
in 99 with that sexist movie, absolutely.
it was funny because he was doing her, but he was like looking at a picture of a guy's butt and everything at the same time. So she's like, "Oh, get off me!" And then all of a sudden she sees the picture and she like freaks out, calls him the F word, and walks out. You know. And
To be fair, that was quite odd.
that would be a little bit weird.
But her
I
showing
think.
up and just taking her top off, also odd.
Yeah.
That part I believe. I mean, certainly the boomers and their rock and roll heroes had enough sex with 15-year-old, 14-year-old groupies, and that was apparently okay back in the 70s and 60s and even into the 80s. You know,
Oh my god! It reminds me of Motley Crue. Tommy, I forgot his name, but there's a thing called the spaghetti incident, and it's just so. I don't know if I can discuss this on the show, but
Oh, please do. You've opened that can of worms.
dang it!
It's a can of spaghetti. Come on.
SpaghettiOs.
All right, Tommy Lee, that's his name. So Tommy Lee had a challenge where he's not allowed to like bathe for like a month or something.
Oh, charming.
And then this groupie went to do this thing, and she threw up like spaghetti or something, and that's why it's called the spaghetti incident, because it was he is so nasty that she threw up, and it's just like how far these rockers would go, like dehumanize their groupies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, not wasn't really pushed or examined or anything. They were just looking for easy, low-hanging fruit, and it just didn't even work on that level, unfortunately. You know. So. Ugh.
Yeah. It was a pretty gross movie.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, the hair.
Oh gosh.
Ugh.
Didn't like the hair.
No. No.
What about special effects? There were some gore effects there. What'd you guys think of that?
It's just like the one part when he like bites the gerbil and like this blood comes out. I was like, oh my god, it's Ozzy Osbourne. But he's still alive even today. But if you see like the blood, it's just too bright to be a blood. Can you be at least darker, more realistically? It's not supposed to be like bright red.
That is true. Like
It was very bright.
Why did he bite the head of the gerbil? Like, why did he do that? Because like biting a bat like Ozzy would make sense if Ozzy was part of your thing, but like Ozzy is alive and well and
more or less.
Yeah.
Well, this is like what I'm saying with the like they had weird cuts. Like he would start off like he just was reanimating. He's in diapers and he's a baby, and then like he randomly just starts touching himself. Like that's weird. And then like suddenly they cut and. It's like, and then he just starts talking about all of these weird things, and he says all of these bizarre things. And it's like, who's teaching you that? You were reanimated 5 minutes ago. Who's teaching you that?
You just summarized Poor Things.
Except that was a fun and good movie.
Oh my god! I can't believe you just said that!
If you take a look into this guy, Frankenstein in the beginning, he looks exactly like Tommy Pickles. He has the big diaper, he has the shirt, and he is wearing a baby bottle, and he has like this bald cat that you can definitely see. And then it's turning into SpongeBob SquarePants with like Patrick Star saying, "Firmly grasp it in your hand," and he keeps dropping the damn guitar, and then all of a sudden he starts playing it
like 10 times.
I'm like, what the hell are we trying to believe
He
here?
was like basically still in rigor mortis, and it was not happening.
It was bizarre.
Some of the effects were kind of interesting, but some of them were just like, let's pretend this is a needle with something in it, and we're just gonna squirt fluid out, and that's about it.
I didn't mind the special effect at the beginning when they reanimated that head horse. I thought that was probably
the cow.
Well, yes, excuse me, the cow.
Oh, you don't get mixed up with
Now, come on now.
My bad. But
How now, brown cow?
Sure. But I feel like that was their best special effect, and everything else, it's like anytime there was any sort of blood or whatnot, like way too much was squirted out. It wasn't the right color or consistency. It just wasn't believable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, remember when it looked like Kool-Aid?
Yep.
At one point.
Yep. Someone spilled the Kool-Aid.
It looked pretty bad.
Yeah, I can tell you. I believe when I remember reading about this, I think the budget was quoted as around $25,000. So
that's a car.
Oh yeah, they must. I mean, it's not like it's green screen like the Amazing Bulk where everything is all green screen. They have to be somebody else's house around New York City. At least they are able to go out there and film somewhere rather than staying home, do it all on green screen.
I mean, some of the sets looked pretty good. Maybe not the doctor's sets, but the bar sets and where they were playing live looked pretty good.
I mean, I think it looked good because they were in an actual bar,
Right, they probably got some free stuff someplace.
Yeah.
So,
but to that point, like going out and filming in presumably New York City, there were several scenes where you can see people, just pedestrians on the sidewalk.
What the hell's that?
And they're just staring at the camera. They're just staring at them while they're walking and talking.
Oh, speaking of which, there's a montage where they have people on the street saying how much they love the king, and they make them like draw like necks, like Frankenstein's neck. It makes me wonder if they have to find random people and say, hey, we're doing a movie about Elvis, and we want you to pretend that you love Elvis so much, and saying why he's so cool. And that's where you get all the groupie people, like, pretending that he's, like, the best thing since NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys, who are huge back in that time around 1999.
Did they say Backstreet Boys? I missed that.
No.
Okay, I was going to say. I missed them saying that stuff. But,
No, but I'm surprised they didn't make, like, a Backstairs Boys comment.
It was right there.
It was right there.
We've already written a better movie.
Yeah, a little more thought. And the thing is, like we said, Brian O'Hara, this was his baby. This was the one thing he was going to be known for. Apart from his couple of shorts he made, he didn't really do much else. This is the one he pushed. This is the one he got the money for. And gosh, I would have liked to have seen better. I really would.
Yeah. I guess there's a reason why there's not much more.
But I mean, he got it released. He got it on DVD. He's got it on Tubi now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He must have turned a profit by now.
By the way, I forgot to mention this, but Brian O'Hara and two other guys wrote the story.
Okay.
You know, so it took 2 or 3 guys to come up with a story for this, and we came up with the story that's better. You know, and everything. Then Vito Cannella and John Clan, but spelled with a K. Klann. So those 2 guys. And then, oh man, poor Mary Shelley is put in as characters.
He's just rolling in this grave.
She's just like rolling her eyes in the grave, like you know, poor woman.
Okay, so we were saying that some of the special effects were kind of not so special.
Well, they were very special.
And I think we mentioned the music, right?
Yeah. And at one point they were singing this guy sang Amazing Grace, and everybody was like eating it up.
God.
Wow.
I'm like, where does that come from? And anybody's hearing gospel at the dive bar, they're gonna be like, what the hell was that?
Elvis Presley was very known for doing gospel. Really, he's had gospel records, so he's very big on that. But
we had to hear the whole damn thing.
That and he wouldn't probably sing it at a dive bar. No, you know, that wasn't the appropriate song. So that was just weird.
And he was wearing the skirts at the time, and because he's putting an ice pack over a Liberace dick.
Right, as you do.
And people were like, didn't even question it or anything. They're like,
oh my god, that was the most bizarre thing. Like, you just walk into a bar with a black bar clothes and a pink tutu that's barely covering an ice pack. Like,
I feel like a 3-year-old dressed themselves. Like, that's what I was looking at.
A 3-year-old on drugs. All of the drugs.
And nobody batted an eye.
No, people just thought that's normal king. You know?
I mean, yeah, you know.
I guess. But he never wore a tutu before. So what was the point of it? I mean, other than to cover the thing, was that
The ice pack was just so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's funny because the worse he became and the more drug abusive and substance abusive he became, the more realistic he became as Elvis as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
So that part was good. I just, I was missing the fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches, 10 or 12 of those.
They should have gone somewhere with that.
Yeah.
They missed out.
Or peanut butter or penis butter and banana sandwich.
Right.
Would have been so much more deep than their other jokes.
This is why it didn't happen.
Right.
Because
we should have been there.
So there you go. So we need to rewrite this. We need to write the sequel, guys. Come on.
Oh, it actually reminds me of something. There's this one scene where Uncle Bernie was talking to guys in his office about how prepubescent girls, like 14 to 19-year-olds, are into him. And it makes me wonder about Priscilla. And I'm like, ooh, you brought that up. Like, because Elvis had a relationship with, like, a 15-year-old at the time. I'm like, are you trying to imply that trying to get...
No, I don't think that's what it was. I think that was just the demographic that was interested in buying, so they're trying to market to the right group.
But I don't think it was like they were saying that those characters wanted to have sex with him. It's like they liked his music.
How do they make the money? Off of the kids.
Yeah.
Even though it was the 45-year-old moms that actually showed up.
Yeah. That part didn't really match up. It's like, we just saw 45-year-old women, like, dropping panties. Like, where was these 12-year-olds? Like,
they called them teeny boppers. Yeah. They called the 45-year-olds teeny boppers. I was like,
I feel so young.
I mean, I gotta admit, I have to wonder, especially like you were saying, the boy bands at the time. I mean, it was the moms taking the kids to those things, and I'm sure they enjoyed the concerts as much as their teenage kids.
Wasn't there like a whole thing a couple of years ago before Justin Bieber, became an adult, where like grown women were going to his concerts and like, oh my gosh, he's so amazing. I would just love to get to know. Like, you have children. You have children. And he's a child. What's happening right now?
Your child. Like, yikes. Yikes, my dude.
The adult believers.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, God.
Yeah, probably the same ones who love the Twilight stuff, too.
Ew. Oh, I've seen, like, Twilight-loving moms. It's just so cringy. And then they turn out to be 50 Shades of Grey fangirls.
Okay, that sounds like a weird, like, all connection right there.
They are connected, though, right?
50 Shades of Elvis.
50 Shades of Grey started off as
Twilight fanfic.
Yeah, it started off as Twilight fanfic, and then somebody picked it up and made it a movie.
There you go.
It actually started off as a book. And when I remember...
It started off as fan fiction, that became a book, that became a movie.
See, you learn all kinds of stuff here at Indie Film Cafe.
Stuff you don't really need to know, but hey, maybe it's on Jeopardy.
There you go.
Everything else is.
All right, kids, I think we've just about hit that time where we need to start talking about scoring this movie. And for the benefit of you folks who have not been on the show before, we have a stinkometer by which we rate our movies from 1 to 10. The lower the score, the better the film. The higher the score, the stinkier the film. And as much as we love our stinky movies here at Indie Film Cafe, the higher the score also means that there were a lot of problems. You know, things like you couldn't see the movie, you couldn't hear the movie went just completely batshit crazy, etc., etc. And then we take our 3 scores and we add them together and we see where on the ladder of stink this particular movie happens to fall. Now, we have some extra scoring folks here, which is perfectly cool. We're going to get scores from everybody here, but we're only going to end up taking 3 scores for this particular one. But that being said, everybody's going to get a chance to score. So what I'm going to do on this case, since there's so many, is we're going to do round robin. And I'm going to start off, and then we're just going to kind of go in a circle. Okay? So, for me, this is, gosh, it's been a while since I watched this film. It was on my list, but I got to admit, it was kind of low. I wasn't exactly sure who I was going to show this to because it does have a lot of offensive stuff in there.
Oh.
Just Jen probably would not have loved it. I don't think
She would have
Jolynn.
watched it, but she wouldn't have loved it.
No.
She could handle hip-hop locos. You know, she could handle
Oh, God, did we? I forgot.
Yeah, you showed that to her, so, yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, she could handle this
We
one.
could have done it.
Yeah.
But anyway, lots of problems, lots of issues. Have seen worse. We could see the film. You know, some of the production was okay. But because it was just so poorly done, I'm going to give it a 9. Give it a 9.
Stephanie?
Yeah, so I think I find this a wonderful movie to watch if you're looking to have a weird time. I would say that the stink is very high. I would say that it's still something that I would put high on my list to show people because of the shock factor. That being said, it does deserve at least an 8, so I'm giving it an 8.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I like Stephanie's reason. Like, I don't know if I'm debating whether I would show this to people or not because of how highly offensive it is. I mean, I've seen worse quality movies, but this one, when it comes to like shock values and, I mean, there are some times you go, what the hell am I watching, and laugh about it, but mostly it's like, what the fuck? This is just offensive. So I would give this an 8.
Okay.
So, had Stephanie not chose this movie, because this was her pick, basically.
Yes, blame her.
Yeah. But, you know, usually I would have expected that Paul would have chose this for What the Fuck Friday, which is our other show that we do where we show kind of weird, and as already was said, somebody says, what the fuck? You know, kind of, this would be that kind of movie. With that being said, I really thought it was that stupid. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I honestly, would I show this to anyone? Probably, if somebody were interested in watching it, yes. I wouldn't just be like, hey, do you want to see this movie? Like Stephanie did, but... You know.
15 people, by the way. It was at least 15 people.
15. Let's put this on for like a party. No, that's not like my idea.
Would you recommend this to Dustin Hubbard?
Yes, absolutely. He's probably seen it.
Yeah.
But if Stephanie were like, hey, I'm having a party, we're watching, you know, rock and roll Frankenstein, I would be like, sure, I'd come over and watch it, you know, because it is a movie that deserves like kind of a group, you know, and everything. I'm glad I didn't watch this by myself.
I mean, this could be the next, you know, Rocky Horror thing, you know, a theme party. Everybody brings their favorite green dildo over.
Yes, absolutely.
That means they have more than one. green dildo.
Well, there's more than one rock star penis collection out there. So.
That's true.
It could be like The Room, but you have to be very creative. Like, what would be a good moment, like to throw dildos up in the air, or just go run around in the montage, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be an annual thing. You never know.
Yeah.
Annual.
All right. So what about you?
You know, I've shat on it a lot. And there's so many things wrong with this film, and yet I'm here watching it again voluntarily and informed prior to. And if I'm being honest, if Steph or somebody else said, hey, I'm watching this film, do you want to come? You know, we're doing bad movies, come watch it, we're watching this, I would watch it again. So I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay. It's kind of fun when you're showing it to someone who's never seen it before.
It is. It's very fun.
You know.
I think there's just something. That's why we watch bad movies, right? Because then you get to pass that suffering on to the next person.
Like The Ring. Yeah,
it's The Ring.
See, you get it. You get it.
Yeah, he loves to do that. That's his thing. Like,
you have 7 days.
yes, Jonathan, you have 7 days, by the way.
Oh, I have 7 days now. Great.
However, I would not recommend it to people who are PC, like highly PC, because they'll be easily offended. They'll be like, nope, turn that off.
Right.
But that was the other thing that Paul had a problem with is like you know, some people would be offended by this movie and showing it to certain people. So when Stephanie recommended it and said we want to do this, I think he was a little shocked. You know, like all right, she's okay.
I mean, and I'm cool with that. I'm glad that your boundary is a lot looser than I expected, which is fine.
Because, I mean, sorry. I know that this kind of stuff, this exists. And I've seen, you know, I live in the real world. There's a lot of darkness and a lot of lightness to the real world. And so to find a really bad, stupid comedy that really just shouldn't exist, but no one got hurt that I know of, yeah, let's do it up.
Maybe a Liberace's, ego. That's about it.
Yeah. I think this is the kind of movie where you need to get drunk or high off of THC just to enjoy it. Like, it'll be more bearable. Because
we're all sober.
Speak for yourself.
That's why at one point, when I first watched it, there was this one part where the Liberace dick was talking as he was getting it on with the gay prostitute. I'm like, yep, it's time for me to get a drink. Where's my drink at? Because there's some stuff I'm like, oh my god, just give me a drink. I can't just suffer sober.
Fortunately, we had lots of Little Caesars pizza with us, and that got us through.
Seizures?
Little Caesars. That's my nickname for Little Caesars.
Oh, okay, that was on purpose. I understand.
Yes, it was.
He wasn't having a seizure right then when he said it.
I mean, let's face it, Little Caesars doesn't have the greatest reputation, at least back in the day. It's gotten much better now. It's pretty good.
It was pretty rad.
But,
delicious.
you know, back in my day, that was the nickname we used to give it, Little Caesars.
Seizures.
Just because it was cheap. That was its main plus.
And there might be some questionable ingredients in
Yeah,
there.
but they've upped their game. I got to give them that. And I'll tell you what, those puffs are awesome. Those crazy puffs.
They were.
Yeah. So, yep. So we had our pizza, we had our puffs, and that got us through a pretty damn stinky movie. So, Steph, thank you very much for hosting this party. I think this was a great idea. This may be something that we do every year. I think this could be a fun thing. We gotta identify a rock and roll Frankenstein virgin who hasn't seen it, and take them and sort of, bring them into the fold and introduce them to it.
I've already shown it to like 20 people at this point, so you guys are going to have to find new people for us to ruin.
Yes. That should be fun.
I shall, at great personal expense, extend this to my circle of friends.
Nice. And one of the things we do is we go and look to see if we can find, copies of it. So we'll put it up on the website. So, you can buy it and have it for yourself.
Oh boy.
Your own copy you could just sit there and pet and stroke and lovingly tell little jokes to, as you do.
Reminiscing on fond memories.
Yes.
So do you ladies also go to like comic conventions and things and cosplay stuff? Or?
Yes. Yeah, it's been a while for me, but I have, yeah.
Okay. And Steph, are you still going at least to these things? Or are you?
Yeah, I'll sometimes go to events. If my friend is selling, I'll sometimes help them sell and have a little section of my old stock there as well. But for the most part, I'm out. But I pop in every now and then.
Nice. Well, hopefully you'll pop in more like this year or whatever. That hopefully we will, because we haven't really been going to any conventions, this year.
Have a table for your podcast.
I know we thought about it, but like it's
cute.
Some of the horror conventions, that's mainly our bread and butter.
Like $400.
But yeah, they're expensive or they're hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going to. Our plan is to go to Cinema Wasteland this year. That's in Ohio and Strongsville, Ohio. We're hoping to go there, but getting a table, you have to actually reserve one that you don't. Like, you're not necessarily going to get that year. So, like, they'll maybe in 2 or 3 years, they'll say, oh, you can have a table now if you want one,
You basically get put on a wait list.
A waiting list, yeah.
Well, that's when you find some people that can donate or give, low-cost product to, so that you can have some stuff for sale at your booth to make up the cost of the booth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good job. Good thinking.
Or if you want to be part of a podcast, you could like pitch in and like look for table. If you want to join you guys or like talk about some stuff, maybe just say, okay, I'll split the costs as long as I could be able to join you guys and have fun.
Yeah, I think the way to do it is to sort of split the cost with somebody else, somebody who's selling things, and then they can sell their thing, and then we could talk about the podcast.
That's what I think Jessa does a lot of that.
Yeah, we did that with Stro.
We did that. Well, no, Stro did that with us.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. This has all been awesome. We
Yeah,
really
thank you very much. This was fun.
Thanks for giving me a reason to buy a cow onesie.
Yes. As if you guys needed one. Come on.
Apparently I did, because I didn't own one.
I didn't own one either, so.
Outstanding.
This is all Stephanie's
Thank
thought,
you. It was a great idea.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. The fact that I had 3 willing adults, me included, well, and Tori would if she had time, but I had 2 other willing adults to do this with me in their 30s. Like, that's really what makes it for me.
And an unwilling dog.
Yes, and my unwilling dog, who had no choice in the matter.
Yeah.
And didn't like it.
At all.
Like it,
Absolutely
not.
not.
Aw, poor Dio.
So let me get this straight. You're totally willing to dress in a cow outfit to watch bad movies and do a podcast, but you're not willing to stay in that cow outfit to go get pizza with me? Okay.
Absolutely not. People in the outside world are awful.
Oh yeah, they are.
That's why you torment them with a cow
But
onesie.
nobody said a thing, did they?
No, we stood in that damn CC's or whatever the hell it's called for like 10 minutes. Nobody said anything to me.
You guys could have gone to Chick-fil-A and you could get yourself a free chicken sandwiches.
Saying, eat more chicken, right? That's their tagline.
They'll
there.
probably say that's copyrighted and come out and hit you.
Well, no, they would just turn the other cheek because they're Christian.
Yeah, like that happens. Anyway, I guess this is a good time to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And please join us next week for God knows whose episode it is. And we will see you on the flip side. Bye. Okay, and we are done.
See.
And delete.
You're still recording.
Me?